Mabel entered the living room. Her heart stopped. Richard, her husband, half man, half goat. He was chewing the couch and tearing papers with his teeth. For a moment, they stared at each other. The man she loved was gone. This is the story of Mabel and Richard. Richard never believed in love at first sight until he met Mabel. They were introduced by mutual friends. From the first day, he couldn't take his eyes off her. She was the kind of woman who turned heads everywhere she went. Soft-spoken, calm, her beauty had presence. Richard liked that. He wanted a woman who could walk into any room and silence it. And Mabel did that without trying. It didn't take long before he asked her to marry him. The wedding was grand. Friends, family and colleagues filled the hall. It was a perfect day. A week later, they returned from their honeymoon in Seychelles. The car stopped in front of their new home. Staff stood waiting to welcome them. "Welcome, sir. Welcome, madam." The house smelled of fresh paint and flowers. The next morning, Mabel woke up excited. She opened her luggage and looked through her new clothes. She picked up her phone and went to meet Richard. Baby, please hold on. I want us to do a video challenge. You rate my outfit. It will really help my social media presence. Right now? Yes, I'll just go and change into the first one. Richard's phone rang. One minute. I need to take this call. He stepped out. Mabel waited. She sat with her tripod beside her. Minutes passed. When Richard returned, he looked tense. "I'm so sorry. Something just happened with our website. Our backend crashed. The tech team is working on it." Mabel nodded, though she didn't understand most of it. He grabbed his laptop bag and left. Mabel sighed. She stood up, fixed her tripod and started taking pictures of her outfit, one after another. A month later, Richard came home with excitement on his face. "Mabel, listen, there is a business conference coming up next week. I want us to go together. Now, speakers from Harvard University, top investors, world business leaders. Babe, it's going to be huge." Mabel laughed. "Babe, you know I don't like those things. It's always boring. People just sit there talking for hours." Richard smiled. "Come on, it's not that bad. You could even learn something. Besides, you have a social media presence. Imagine the content you can create from just learning from that business conference." She waved her hand. "Please, you know I only do that for fun. I'm not trying to be one of those serious content creators." "You know what, babe? Just go without me. I'll stay here on the home front, praying for you, interceding for you, so that no weapon will prosper against you." He sighed. "Maybe. Okay. Whatever you learn, just record it, bring it back and I'll listen." "All right. Deal?" "Deal." The conference was packed. Richard listened, took notes and recorded the sessions. When the topic shifted to social media growth, he wished Mabel was there. He took out his phone and recorded everything. A few days later, he returned home. Mabel was waiting in the kitchen smiling. "Welcome, babe. You won't believe what the chef and I made for you. Jambalaya rice, dirty rice, grilled chicken, pepper chicken, everything." "Wow," Richard said as he dropped his bag. "That's a lot. Thank you." Richard smiled faintly and shook his head. "Mabel, the food can wait. You really need to listen to the audio I recorded. The session on digital creation was deep. It can help you grow your page." "Okay, babe, listen. But first, sit down and eat. You can't talk about work on an empty stomach." "Mabel, I need you to really listen to it like right now." "Okay, babe, I promise you, if you can finish your food, I would listen to it. I cross my heart, I will do it." Of course, Mabel never listened to the recording. She spent her days scrolling through her phone, watching videos and reading magazines. Whenever Richard asked, she said, "I'll listen soon. There's time. I have a lifetime to learn. Babe, you know I'm kind of like a slow learner. I need to take my time." Monday morning came. At work, Richard greeted one of his colleagues and business partner. "Good morning, Evelyn." "Good morning, Richard. How was your weekend?" "Fine. And yours?" Evelyn twirled slightly. showing off her fitted gown. So, Richard, what do you think about my outfit today? He raised a brow. Didn't your fiancé already tell you how you look? She rolled her eyes. That one is too boring. When I ask him how I look, he just says, it's fine. No emotion. Richard chuckled. Maybe he's just tired. Give him time. Please forget him. I know you will never compliment me either. Okay. You look good, Evelyn. Say thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Richard. As he walked to his office, Evelyn watched him. She wondered what Richard saw in Mabel. Why a man like him would settle for a woman like that when there are better options. A year later, Mabel still refused to work. She believed her duty was to stay home, care for her husband, and keep their home beautiful. She often said, I can't let another woman manage my husband. That's how problems start. Richard understood her fear, but wanted more for her. One afternoon he said, Mabel, I think you should further your education. Don't just stop at your HND. Let's build something together, our own empire. Mabel laughed lightly. Babe, please. My beauty is enough asset, Richard. When people see me with you at events, don't you see how they look at us? They respect you even more. They see how you take care of me and they give you more deals. Richard looked at her quietly. I appreciate that, but I want more than beauty. I want you to be able to hold intelligent conversations, represent me when I'm not there. I believe in you. So you're saying I am not intelligent, right? No. That's not what I'm saying. I just want you to broaden your education. Anywhere in the world you want to go, I will sponsor it. Just mention it. I'll pay for it. Is it Harvard? Where do you want to go? I want you to grow as I grow. I'm also pursuing my master's as well. Mabel looked away angry. You talk like I'm not enough already. At least you please. She stood up and walked out of the room. The next few days, she refused to talk to him. She stayed in bed, avoided him, and didn't help him get ready for work like she usually did. Richard, being a peace-loving man, decided to make things right. He bought her a gift, expensive Chanel bag, designer wristwatches, and perfumes. He knew the things she liked. That evening, his phone rang. It was Mabel. Hello, babe. Well, you're forgiven, but I have something to tell you when you come back. It's very important, okay? Richard smiled. All right, I'll be home early. That evening, Mabel waited for him in the living room. So, babe, you know all this talk about you wanting me to work and go to school and all that, okay? So I've been thinking, since I have a social media presence and people like my outfit, I want to start a fashion business. Now, calm down. I want it to be world class. I want it to be among the top brands in the world. Wow, that's wonderful. I'll support you fully. Richard's face lit up. Within a month, he opened a multi-million naira building for her in Victoria Island. He took her on a tour of the place himself. She was speechless. He also gave her a check of 30 million naira to stock up the store and hire staff. Mabel was overjoyed. She traveled to Paris to buy fashion items and have them shipped to Nigeria. Richard wanted her to live with pride, believing this was the beginning of something beautiful. A few days later, Mabel returned to Nigeria. When Richard walked into the living room that afternoon, she ran to hug him. Babe, you're back. Did you miss me? So, now look at me. What do you think? Richard looked confused. What do I think of what? She flipped her hair and said, what do you think about my boobs and my shape? Richard blinked. Mabel, please, what's going on? Okay, babe, let me explain. I know you gave me that money to stock up the store, but I use it for something more important. I did a BBL and a liposuction. Richard froze. You did what? Babe, just listen. Now, you see all these big stars that have big fashion brands. You need the body to carry the clothes. I can't be selling fashion and not look the part. Once I heal, I will travel again to buy the items. Are you kidding me right now? Babe, no, I'm not joking. I'm serious. Richard was silent. Babe, say something. Look at your wife now. Look at me. Mabel 10.0. He shook his head slowly and walked away. Richard! Richard! She called, but he didn't answer. That night, he didn't sleep in their bedroom. The next day, he left the house early. He didn't want to argue. He didn't want to say anything that would turn into a fight. Every time Mabel came into the living room, he stood up and walked out. She noticed it, the silence, the distance, the empty side of the bed. One evening, she confronted him. So this is it. You don't come home early anymore. Who is keeping you outside? Richard turned sharply. Don't you dare say that. And so then why are you acting like this? You are avoiding me. Mabel, you have done something wrong. I opened a store for you. I gave you everything you needed. And you use it for surgery. Are you not even sorry? She crossed her arms. Richard, you married me like this. You knew I wasn't cut out for this work life. I already have my HND. What else do you want from me? I cannot be married to a multi-millionaire like you and still be walking around with my certificate. What exactly do you want? I just can't go out there to work. You want other men to take me away? Richard looked at her quietly. Which other men? See, babe, listen. You know I trust you in that area. But I want you to do something meaningful with your life. You know what? I won't say much. Because if I do, you will pick offense and I'll have to start buying you gifts. So please just let me go. He picked up his keys and walked away. At work, Evelyn noticed his mood. She walked into his office. Hey, Richard. You look tired. Is everything okay? He gave her a small smile. I'm fine, thank you. Are you sure? You can always talk to me. You know, a problem shared is half solved. Richard shook his head. See, it's fine, Evelyn. Yes, I had a misunderstanding with my wife, but that's not something we'll discuss in the office, okay? Well, all right. But inside, she wished she had a good man like him. At home, Mabel grew restless. She started to worry that another woman might take her husband. One afternoon, she dressed up in a tight outfit and went to Richard's office without telling him. When she entered, Evelyn looked up. Good afternoon, ma'am, she said politely. Mr. Richard is in a meeting. Well, I'll wait. When Richard came out, he looked surprised. Mabel, what are you doing here? Babe, I came to take you out for lunch, she said with a forced smile. Well, I can't. Please just go home. Of course. Look at the way you're talking to me like I'm trash. That's why that lady looked at me from head to toe like I'm trash. I'm sure you've been talking about me to her. That's why she doesn't respect me. Mabel, please don't start this here. Just leave. She grabbed her purse. Well, I'm going home, she said, turning sharply and walking out. Evelyn watched from her desk as the door closed behind Mabel, a small smile forming on her face. Mabel became restless. Richard had grown distant, and she could feel it. One afternoon, she visited her friend, Veronica, in the estate. She poured out everything. Veronica shook her head. Wait, why is he even angry? He's a rich man. You only did what was right for your brand. Exactly, Mabel sighed. I didn't waste the money. Babe, look at me. Look at me. At least you know how I used to look before, right? Yes. Okay, if you're a man, would you be attracted to a body like this? Hey, look, check me out. My sister. You see, men are tricky. I'm not saying Richard cheats, but when a man wants to start cheating, he starts finding small excuses. After all, your husband is a multi-millionaire. How much is 10 million? Why act like it's a crime? Mabel nodded slowly. Veronica, God will bless you. Veronica, God will bless you. You are right. Mabel, listen to me. Please live your life. This life is just one. Take care of yourself and keep an eye on him. And if you ever need help, call me. My sister, you look amazing. Thank you, Veronica. God bless you, Mabel said. From that day, Mabel's suspicion grew. One night, she heard Richard talking in his study. His voice was low but serious. As she approached, he ended the call. Something in her snapped. The next morning, Richard couldn't find her anywhere. He assumed she was asleep and left for work. When he got to the office, he told the security guard, Please, Musa, watch this car. Okay, sir, no problem. The guard opened the boot and froze. Ah, Madam Mabel, you better keep quiet. If you tell Richard you saw me, I'll make sure you lose this job and you'll never have any job in this Lagos. The man nodded quickly. No ma, God forbid, I cannot tell him. I won't talk. She stepped back quietly and left before Richard returned. At least she was calm now. He wasn't seeing anyone. A few days later, Richard came home. Mabel said, babe, please, let me use your phone. Mine is acting up. I just want to make a call. He handed it to her without thinking. As soon as he left the room, she opened his contact and deleted every woman's number she saw. When she was done, she smiled to herself. At least now, he can't call any side chick rubbish, she whispered. A month later, Richard got a major contract. He was scheduled to meet one of the company's COOs in a hotel restaurant. Unknown to him, Mabel had been tracking his movement. That day, she dressed in black, wore a scarf and dark shades, and sat at a corner of the hotel lobby. She watched as Richard greeted the COO politely, both of them discussing documents and smiling. Her heart burned. When the meeting ended, she followed him to the car park. So this is what you do now, she shouted, smiling at other women, having secret meetings. No wonder, anytime I want to come to the study, you just end your call. God has exposed you. God, I thank you. I lift up my hands and I worship you. Thank you for exposing Richard. Thank you for showing me that I married the wrong man. Richard looked at her in shock. Mabel, what are you doing here? You better keep your voice down. That's my client and I'm closing a deal. She laughed bitterly. A deal? Show me proof. Let me see the file. Show me something. He stared at her. Mabel, what's wrong with you? When did you start behaving like this? I started behaving like this ever since you changed. Just because I use money for a BBL and a liposuction. Am I the first woman to do that? Other men would have been proud of their wives. But you're just here getting angry for nothing. Richard clenched his jaw. I'm not one of those husbands. I loved you the way I married you. I didn't ask you to change anything. As they argued, the COO drove past and saw them shouting in the car park. Her face hardened. That evening, Richard got a message. The company was cancelling the deal. They said they wanted someone more competent, someone who could manage his own home. Richard sat in silence, heartbroken. The tension at home grew worse. They barely spoke. At work, Evelyn noticed. She showed up at his office with lunch. Hi, Richard. I brought you food, she said softly. Please eat something. Richard shook his head. Thank you, but I'm fine. Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. Why do you always act like you don't see me? From the day we became business partners, I've loved you. I see the way Mabel treats you. What do you even see in her? Look at me from head to toe. What does she have that I don't have? I'm here, Richard, but you keep ignoring me. Evelyn, I'm a married man. Whether my marriage is working or not, I made a vow to God. I won't break it because of you. And if this should continue, you will stop being my business partner. She looked away as he walked out. At home, Mabel became obsessed. Before the laundryman arrived, she would sniff Richard's suit, search his pocket, hoping to find a note or perfume scent. She found nothing. Still, she called Veronica again. Vero baby, I'm tired. I can't keep suspecting him and finding nothing. Veronica smiled through the phone. Don't worry. I'll give you something that will make him love you more. It's what I gave my husband, and he has never looked at another woman since. Really? Mabel's eye widened. Yes, it will strengthen your marriage and keep Richard in check. When the call ended, Mabel was excited. At last, she thought she would have Richard all to herself. Veronica came to the house one evening. She carried a small container in her hand. Mabel, this will fix everything. Just put a small portion of this in your husband's food. But make sure he's not angry when he eats it, or it will backfire. Mabel looked at the powder. Well, are you sure about this? Trust me. It works. Have you not seen my husband? Can't you see how calm he is? This is what I use. See, it will make Richard love you again. I have to go now. Mabel nodded slowly. Okay, thank you very baby, bye. The next afternoon, Richard came home tired from work. Mabel knelt before him. Richard, I know I've offended you. Please forgive me. I've made mistakes. I took you for granted, but I want to make things right. Please forgive me. See, I'm ready to do anything you want me to do. I will travel anywhere you want. I will study. I'll work. Just please, let's fix this marriage. I even told the chef to prepare your favorite meal. Richard, please, please. For the first time in months, Richard smiled. Okay, finally, at least you've apologized. We're going to start over. She stood up, relieved. Thank you. Your food is on the table. She served him, then walked away. Minutes later, Richard started coughing. At first, it was mild, then it grew violent. He grabbed his throat, trying to breathe. His coughs turned to strange, deep sounds. Then suddenly, silence. A low bleating filled the air. When Mabel returned to the living room, she froze. A goat stood where Richard had been sitting, tearing papers and chewing the edge of the couch. Her eyes widened. Jesus! Richard! The goat turned. Its eyes were red. Mabel screamed and ran outside. She called the security guard. Abu, please come quickly. I have a goat. I just got a goat. I need you to help me tie it up quickly. The guard hesitated. Madam, should I call Oga Richard to help? Oh, shut up! Just do what I said. The guard tied the goat outside and left. Mabel stood trembling. Her hands shook as she picked up her phone and called Veronica. Veronica, my husband, he has turned into a goat. There was silence on the line. Then Veronica laughed nervously. Mabel, that's how it works now. You wanted him calm and obedient, right? What? You didn't tell me he would turn into an animal. Please, I was only trying to help. And please don't involve me in this. You asked for help and I gave it to you. What else do you want? The call ended. Mabel dropped the phone and burst into tears. The next morning, she went to her pastor. She knelt before him crying. Pastor, I've done something terrible. Please help me. My husband is no longer human. The pastor listened, his face hard. Mabel, you had a good man. A man who wanted to see you grow. Do you not know what the Bible says? When God made Adam, the first thing he gave him was a garden to tend. Your husband was tending to you, helping you grow into the woman God designed you to be, and you chose pride. But Pastor, please help me. His family members must not come and see him like that, please. He stood up and went with her. When they arrived, the pastor saw the goat tied at the back of the house. He lifted his hands and began to pray. The air grew heavy. Mabel fell to her knees, crying uncontrollably. After a moment, the goat fell to the ground. There was a flash of light and Richard lay there unconscious but human again. Mabel ran to him sobbing. Richard, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just wanted you to love me. In the living room, Richard sat up. He looked at the pastor, then at Mabel. Pastor, for my safety and for my peace, I want this marriage to end. I've done my best, but if my wife will go this far, then I don't know what might happen next. What if it has been poison instead? Mabel cried louder. Please don't say that. I will never poison you. Please. Richard stood. You need help, Mabel. I wish you well, but I can't stay. The pastor nodded slowly. Well, may God heal your heart, my daughter. Mabel packed her things and left the house that evening. Please, do not choose a partner for just your now, but for your future. Marriage is not a reward. Marriage is an assignment. Now, if you enjoyed the story and you would like to create your own African folktale channel, I'll leave the links in the pinned comment below. And you can support this channel by subscribing. Please subscribe and click the next video showing on your screen for another amazing life-changing story.